The man whose undercover investigations led to the life ban of former Ghana Football Association president from all football-related activities says he cannot rejoice over the downfall of Nyantakyi. Aremeyaw Anas, who is a keynote speaker at the ongoing African Investigative Journalism Conference at the Witwatersrand University in Johannesburg, South Africa, says he has heard about the ban, or he was hearing about it for the first time from the audience and will not go into details. He told his audience, made up of investigative journalists drawn from Africa, including Ghana and other parts of the world, that he fought a system and not a personality.
I haven't seen the story yet, and so at this stage, I would just say no comment. A lot of these issues are in court, and strategically so. I am not one person who loves to rejoice about somebody's misfortune. I think that I fought a system and not a personality. And I'm happy that the system is down, and I'm happy that changes are being brought. For me, those are very, very important issues. I've been looking at football in the last 2 years. It's been very confrontational. 16 African countries betraying the game. Africa IDBC, and then number 12 Ghana. It affected the World Cup. The Kenyan referee got knocked down by FIFA. My colleagues in Nigeria had their share of their coach. Burkina Faso has taken its share. Cote d'Ivoire has taken its share. It was a distribution on the African continent, but it didn't come easy. My colleagues at African IDBC will tell you that. So there was a lot of fire in this investigation, and there is still. We had death threats on our heads, people wanting to get rid of us, people calling for us to be hanged. But we stayed focused. 64 of these referees are already out by the Ghana Referee Association. FIFA itself has sacked a lot of people, and we are pushing towards prosecution. We are still struggling with who has betrayed Ghana's football. I have close colleagues who say that I have, others who say I have not.
We will not sit, or we must not sit, for people to hand down their kind of journals, hook, line, and sinker to us to copy. If it doesn't work for you, think around it. But whilst thinking around it and evolving and coming out with different solutions to take care of the problems that you have, we ought to keep the professional standard, the legal issues, because they will never stop suing us. As I said, a lot of suits are there. I got it from the judges, I've got it from football, but now, once you obey the rules, you go strictly in accordance with these rules, we will end up making a more meaningful impact in your society. Journalism is a hot profession. It's like a hot kitchen. If you can't deal with the heat, you exit. Strangers would always be real. They would always stare us in the face. As journalists, we have to be bold, honest enough, follow the rules and regulations, and be innovative. See, there are real problems in our society. I would always call them extreme diseases. And when you have an extreme disease, you would have to look for a remedy. I would always look out for an extreme remedy. As I've always said, extreme remedies are the most appropriate for extreme diseases.
Aremeyaw Anas there speaking in faraway Johannesburg, but his lawyers say they've handed enough evidence to enable state agencies to prosecute former GFA President Nyantakyi if they are so minded to do so. There have been some concerns from various quarters, including the opposition MDC, over the failure of the Attorney General to drag the banned football administrator to court months after the documentary detailing corruption and football was televised. Private legal practitioner Samson Ladia Yenene believes the acts captured on tape may not necessarily constitute crime. He spoke on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM.
You must prove his guilt beyond reasonable doubt. If you don't discharge that burden, the person cannot be, as it were, found guilty. So I guess we should be asking now what Anas may have supplied. Those who may have received it, we understand Iyoko received some, the special prosecutor may have also received some of that. What further investigations may have revealed? We should be asking them the questions. They should show us whether or not their investigations, there was need for further investigations, and what the further investigations have concluded on. Otherwise, what you just saw on that footage and the pronouncements of the man on that footage, I can say that 1,000 times, are not matters that will constitute a criminal prosecution.
Not even defrauding by false pretenses, which is what the president...
Who? And doing so in which territory? And by the territorial application of the law, is he liable?
All right.
I mean, we should look at all of these things.
You hear the private legal practitioner Samson Ladiayene, now lead counsel for Anas Aremeyaw Anas and Kisie Jabeng, however, disagrees with Samson. He argues that enough evidence of crime has been captured on tape and presented to the investigative bodies. He spoke on the same program.
With all the facets that are available to the various state institutions, they should come out with a determination whether indeed the evidence is solid enough for them to go on or otherwise.
So, lawyer, what did you think was the way to go? You mentioned that in your determination and in the determination of your client, you thought this has been committed, this has. What has been committed?
Several things. There's bribery, there's corruption. I'll give you two. The others I'll hold for my purposes.
In our laws, isn't bribery and corruption limited to public officials by our laws?
Depends on how you are looking at it. It depends on how you are looking at it.
How should we look at it?
Engineering it, and the one on whose behalf it is being engineered. Depends on how you look at it. And the aim and final object of the person who was engineering it. If you look at it critically, everything will fall into its right chips.
What's of the question of jurisdiction, lawyer? The fact that this was committed in another country. What was recorded anyway? It is.
You have concluded that it was committed in another country because the video was recorded in Dubai. But mind you, the company was set up in Ghana in pursuance of the meeting in Dubai. 7 days after, or 10 days after the meeting, the company was set up here. And then accounts were set up here in anticipation of receiving monies here in Ghana, all in pursuance of this enterprise. I mean, it's for the state institutions to go through what was given to them and come to a conclusion or otherwise. As for beyond reasonable doubt, say, what do you need more than a person who is seen on tape doing this or that? You want God himself to come down to tell you that this is what he did. Unless you're saying that the video evidence was dreamed of, it wasn't there, it was contrived, it was manufactured. Otherwise, you'll be calling on God himself to come and testify.
So since the announcement of his lifetime ban, there's been a lot of reaction. Coach and football administrator Joseph de Graaf Johnson has been explaining to JoyNews the implications of the life ban imposed on Mr. Nyantakyi. He tells JoyNews he can no longer play an active role in the management of his club, All Stars.
But there is a non-FIFA group, but they're not big at all. So basically, he can start his own thing as well, as far as I know. But this is a FIFA ban.
But he also owns a football club, All Stars.
Yes, anything to do with All Stars is also out of the question.
As in, he has to give it out?
He has to give it up. Yes, he cannot be involved with any activities with All Stars. If he does, All Stars themselves will be sanctioned.
Can this be overturned?
Well, what it is, this is not final because he is allowed to appeal, as far as I know. Yes.
Can this affect the prospect of any other Ghanaian?
The whole thing is, I think you hear from our voice, it's such a shame. Because it's not just the African game, but FIFA itself. He was opening doors in FIFA itself because he had become the FIFA representative for Africa, and he was holding posts in FIFA. So it's a massive loss.